Should you do your own RV repairs? Well, today we're going to talk about that, the pros and the cons. Stay tuned. Today we're going to be talking about RV camping. And if you've done any RV camping at all, you know that sometimes your RVs break. Now, we have a choice to make. Should we fix the problem ourselves or should we take it into a shop? If we haven't met yet, I'm John with Let's Go Now Adventures, and whether you're into tent camping or RV camping, we create videos to help you have a better camping experience. So let's get started. So this is our 17-year-old Forest River RV. You know, we bought this RV used. We knew that buying it used, we'd probably have to do more repairs, but we wanted to get an RV that would fit in our budget and we wanted to pay cash for it. And so we've had this RV for 4 years. Surprisingly, we've had to do very little repairs on it. That was until last September. So one thing is certain, if you own an RV, it's going to break. Something will go wrong with your RV. Now, there's a couple of reasons why that's the case, and we're going to talk about those. We're going to talk about, should you do your own repairs? So stick around until the very end when I'll cover the benefits of doing your own RV repairs. So at the end of last season, our toilet stopped flushing. It wouldn't fill up with water. So what did we do? We used buckets to fill the water up from the sink and then bring it in, fill the toilet up, and then be able to do your thing. You know, one of the main important reasons you buy an RV is because you have your own bathroom, right? In the spring, I took on the job of fixing the toilet. You know, I was using any excuse that I possibly could to put that job off. You know, who wants to fix a toilet? And it involved pulling the toilet from where it sits in the bathroom outside of the RV just to change a toilet valve. Now, I'd been putting it off and dreading it, and then I did it. Once I did it, the funny thing is, it was so easy, it was so fast. Fixing the valve on the toilet took 30 minutes tops. I was done. If I didn't know that it was going to be that easy to do, I'd have fixed the toilet when it first happened. But you don't know that sort of thing until you try it. So a lot of these RV repairs that I've tried to do are much easier than you'd think. And once you do it, you now know how to do it in the future. It'll even be faster. So where do you find out how to do the repairs on your RV? First source is going to be your own owner's manual. In there, it'll tell you all about the components that have gone into your RV. It'll also give you some suggested things to look at if there's problems. Second would be Google. Just type into Google what your problem is and you'll get more information than you'd ever want on the subject. You can always talk to a trusted friend, somebody that you know is already good at this stuff. The best source and my go-to for how to do a new repair when I don't know or I've never done it before is go to YouTube. YouTube's like The Matrix, where Carrie Ann Moss's character Trinity in just a few seconds was uploaded the skills and the knowledge to fly a helicopter. Well, YouTube's not that fast, but it's just as effective. You know, one thing I do is I'll usually watch several videos on the same subject and then kind of filter and make sure that I'm getting good information. You know, if somebody tells you something that just doesn't make sense, like for example, check your propane connections for leaks by using a cigarette lighter. You know, that's just a bad idea and everybody knows that. So you want to watch it and use a little bit of skepticism when you're watching the YouTube videos, but that's why I watch multiple, to make sure that two people are telling me the same thing and it makes sense. So with our toilet repaired, we set out on our first camping trip of the season. This was early spring. We had a great time. It was wonderful. On our return trip, though, we were driving down the freeway and we heard just awful noises coming from the trailer. So I looked out my rear window really quick, saw nothing. Holly looked out her side and saw pieces of debris flying everywhere and dust and whatever. It was just a mess. So I quickly pulled over. We had thrown the tread off of the passenger side front tire on the trailer. You know, it wasn't flat yet, but it would have been flat if we'd have driven for more than just a few more feet. So what we did is we ended up rolling the trailer back up onto some stabilizer blocks that we had. That lifted the tire that was the problem up off the ground. We changed it in no time at all, got on our way, and went home. But you know, the tire was the least of our problems. So why do RVs break more? Well, RVs are made very quickly. You know, even more quickly right now. There is so much demand for RVs that they're having to just make them as fast as they can. You know, RV construction focuses more on keeping the cost down and the weight down rather than on durability. Even the most careful RV owner puts their rig in harm's way just by taking it on the road. Turns, dips, potholes, starts and stops all put stresses on RV components. Now imagine driving 10 miles down a dirt road to get to that perfect site. You've just put your rig through the equivalent of a Category 5 earthquake. So after that last trip, we did a quick turnaround. We went back to work for just a couple of days and took off on our next adventure. Well, we got up to our site. We stopped by, filled the water tank up with water, and then we pulled into our site. We were setting up, getting everything ready. We flipped the water pump on, and there was a steady stream of water coming from the passenger side of the trailer right over the tire we had a problem with. So I grabbed my flashlight, got on the ground, climbed under the trailer, and shone it up there, and you could see what had happened was that when the tire exploded, the tread went flying off. It had gone up and it had sheared 2 water pipes that were running above the tire. It was the water supply to the galley. You know, while I was down there though, there was one piece of tire that was wedged between the floor of the trailer and the frame. Another piece of tire must have been hit the floor of the trailer from underneath so hard it punched a hole about that big. So the next question is when to let a pro do it. Most RV repairs that happen can be fixed by you. However, it's important to know your limits. Not everyone has the desire or patience to do their own repairs. That's okay. Repairs involving water, electricity, propane, and welding should cause you to pause and question your skill level. With experience doing your own repairs, you'll gain the confidence to expand your limits and tackle the tough jobs. So if the repair is beyond your abilities, take it to a pro. So we got home. I watched a couple of YouTube videos on how to repair the tubing that you use in RVs. And I found out it was really pretty simple. You just needed a couple of tools that I didn't have. You know, one thing is you want to make sure you do have the right tool if you're doing your RV repair. But think of it, if all you have to do is purchase some parts, a little bit of tubing, some fixtures like this, and buy some tools, you're still going to come out so much farther ahead than if you paid a pro to fix the problem. So for this repair, I chose to use some brass fittings with some crimp style connectors. I just had to splice in a couple of fresh pieces of PEX tubing. Now, that was really easy. It didn't take very long. The hardest part of it, though, was getting to where the repair happens. Now, I found that that's really the case with a lot of RV repairs, is the repair isn't difficult. It's getting to the repair because stuff gets crammed into such little spaces. I think we did it. You know, I found the best thing to do quite often is take the time to get whatever it is you need to repair and expose it. Get it out of a cabinet or remove, like I did the toilet, get the toilet out of the way so you can make the repair happen. So I always carry a couple of lengths of PEX tubing. Now my new tools for fixing the PEX tubing, and I've got some L joints, some T joints, and some end caps that I always carry with me. Now if a repair like that is needed in the future, I can do it while I'm camping. I don't need to wait until I get back home. Now, the easy, the hard, and the really hard. There are easy and hard aspects of doing your own RV repairs. The easy part. Many repair parts for your RV can be purchased inexpensively at your local home improvement store. RV manufacturers use components from a limited amount of component manufacturers. Think Suburban, Sureflow, and Thetford. Now the hard part. RV manufacturers are trying to cram a bunch of stuff into very limited spaces. That means you may have to uninstall one thing just to get to the other thing that needs to be repaired. These types of repairs can require a considerable amount of contorting the body to make the repair. I found that a practice of completely removing the thing that needs to be repaired, taking it outside your RV, actually saves time and your back. So to add insult to injury, on the very same day that we've discovered that our water lines had been cut leading to the galley, it was later that night that it was getting cool. It was late spring and we were at 8,000 feet, so it was going to get down to about freezing. At night, it got a little cooler in the trailer. We went to flip the furnace on and nothing. So we're going, okay, what now? So I checked the fuse for the furnace. It was fine. I played with the thermostat a little bit, and you could hear it click when when the little switch clicks on to tell your furnace to do its thing. Well, the furnace didn't do its thing. It didn't take me too long to discover that that hole that the tire had punched was right underneath the furnace fan. And so we survived that night. And, one thing I do carry my Mr. heater, my portable buddy heater. We used the portable buddy to stay warm that night on the rest of that trip. And we got home and I decided, should I fix the heater or should I have a pro do it? Well, when I found out how much it would be to have a pro fix the furnace and how long they would need to have my RV out of commission, that did it. That was the decision I needed to make me say, I don't care how big a job it is, I'm going to do the furnace repair. And the funny thing is it took me 2 hours to get the furnace out of the cabinet and outside of the trailer so I could get a look at it. It took me 1 second to see the problem and fix it. Literally, it was 2 hours to get the furnace out, 1 minute to fix the furnace, and then it took only, maybe another 20, 30 minutes to put the furnace back into its cabinet, back in where it needed to be, hook up the lines, and get everything going again. All that had happened was the bump on the bottom of the furnace had caused the plug to go to the control board to come undone. It took 5 seconds to see that. It took me 1 second to plug it back in. I tested it, the furnace worked perfect. We were good to go. Can you imagine spending $1,000 to have that repaired at a shop? And I did it. Yeah, it took me 3 hours to fix the problem, but it was well worth the 3 hours spent. So now we come to the benefits of doing your own repairs. The two most obvious benefits of doing your own repairs are time and money. The reason I say time, even though it may take you a long time to do the repair, if you take your RV to the shop, it can take a long time. First, they won't be able to take your RV right away. There could be a many-week wait before they'll even take your RV. Second, once they finally do take your RV, it's not that they're going to fix it that day. It may sit in their shop for 2 to 3 weeks before they actually finish the job and get it back to you. That's a whole bunch of time that your RV's not there for you to use and enjoy. So the next obvious one is money. It's going to take you time to get your RV down to the shop. This is time that you're not spend working or doing something else that you enjoy doing. The other is that you're going to be paying the technician a considerable amount of money to do your repairs. Money that you could save by doing it yourself. However, there are other, I think even more important benefits to doing your own repairs. Think of it like this. On one hand, you have repair. By doing repairs, what's going to happen is you're going to gain more confidence. And it becomes a cycle. With more confidence, you're willing to do more repairs. And that repair is going to add to your confidence. So it just creates a cycle where you get better and better at doing your own repairs. Now, as you get more confidence, another thing's going to happen. Now you have more confidence, and over here, you're going to gain familiarity with your rig. So you gain more confidence, you do repairs. You get more familiar with your rig. You get more familiar with your rig, you're gaining more confidence. And that's another cycle, and things start to improve. Now, why is that important? So with knowing your rig, you can detect problems quicker. You can fix quicker. You can even make repairs when you're on the road as soon as you detect the problem. And then the biggest thing is less stress. Now the most important benefit. Doing your own repairs can give you an incredible satisfaction, a sense of accomplishment, and pride. So the bottom line is, for several years we didn't have any repairs on this trailer, and now just in the last 6 months I've had to do basically major repairs. There's some benefits to doing your own repair though. First, you get to buy new tools. The other thing is that each time I do these repairs, I'm learning, so that if something like that were to happen again in the future, I'd be able to fix it. I'd have the confidence, I'd have the ability to go in and make that repair happen a lot quicker. So, it really is worthwhile for me. And not everybody's cut out to do their own repairs, but I bet there are a lot of you, just like me, that may be kind of scared of doing these repairs, but once we know how to do it, we've gained the confidence, we're out there, we're making our own RV repairs, we're getting it done quicker, we're saving a lot of money, and we're getting our rig back on the road a lot quicker. So in this video, I've given you a lot of things to think about whether you should take on your own RV repairs. RV repairs can be extremely satisfying. If you do decide to become an RV repair expert, it takes a little step at a time. Each time you do the repair, you're going to get better and better. I hope in today's video I've given you some great things to think about while you decide whether or not you should do your own RV repairs. If you got some value out of this video, give us a big thumbs up. We really do appreciate that. And if you'd like to see more camping related videos, please hit the subscribe button right down there. I'm John with Let's Go Now Adventures, and we'll see you on the next adventure.